Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. We're fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of our journey for the last several years. Thank you, Folgers. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. Also, big thank you to Justin Snicker, a.k.a. Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, for the contribution of his time, his music, and his voice for the intro that you just heard. He's an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite music streaming platforms. Also, big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the Legos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. And does great commission pieces, even though he also specializes in the spooky horror genre. And 'tis the season. So if there's something you're looking for, I say, look him up. Anyway, tonight we are just so honored to have Dr. Christopher Macklin back. He's just it was always so much fun with Zone here. Wealth of information. And tonight is not going to be any different. We're going to be exploring the realm of angels, multifaceted messengers and guardians, fallen, and we're going to be looking at their esoteric connections. He does spend a lot of time, and I mean a lot of time doing healings, and we're going to get a little bit of that tonight as well. You guys can go ahead and look him up on his website. I put it in the stream for you all, and it's flashing across. And if you want it up again in the chat room, just let me know. But he does this twice a week, and it's he's also got one-on-one sessions, and you can register by going online. They are free, so check them out. But anyway, tonight, without further ado, let's dig in to the world of angels and what it's like to work with them. Can you work with them? Should you work with them? What are they? Where do they come from? List goes on, and this is the guy to tell us all about it. Hello.
Yeah, hi Michelle. Lovely to see you. Bless your heart. We're back on again.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's always a pleasure having you on. It's just always so much fun and so informative. And I know it's not going to be any different. You're just sort of the man that does everything when it comes to the field of high strangeness, it would seem. And, some of the faux pas topics, which we can definitely do.
Absolutely. That's what life's all about.
I know, isn't it? Just live life on the edge. Anyway, welcome back. And I've really been looking forward to this topic because I think, we're especially lately with everything that's just been in the news, we've got just people who are, they're all over the place with their feelings and their emotions. And it's just like, is there any good out there? Yes, the good news is there is. There's great things
you just gotta find it.
Yes, exactly. So you work, you do a lot of work with angels, and we know that everybody's got their version of what an angel is, what they come from. Some of it comes from our upbringing, conditioning, things like that. And then you have people in the paranormal will think it's one thing. People in ufology might think it's something else. A spiritualist will think it's something else. There's just a whole mix of everything. But what are they really?
Well, it's interesting, December 27th, 1983, the Time magazine put out something about how many people believe in angels, and it was a big percentage. It was something like 70% of the population, and that's a lot, and so a lot of people really believe in angels, and it's interesting. What is an angel? Well, to me, it's something that, to me, it's typically, like they're spiritual beings, often depicted as like divine messages, an intermediate between us and prime creator. They have a lot of knowledge because they're not stuck in a third dimensional matrix, and so they can really help you. But people often ask me, well, what's the difference between guides and angels? Well, angels are, they've reached an unconditional love place where they've evolved enough that they can help you, and they're there to really comfort you, help you navigate this third dimensional world. I mean, the whole point about us being here is because a lot of people, probably about 1% of the population, is starseeds. And don't forget, the population isn't what it seems. I'd love to go into that as well, because a lot of non-player characters and things like this, people think, oh, we've got 8.7 billion people here. Oh, and we really don't. Not unless people really don't like television. And
That's true. Yeah.
How do we get to 8.7 billion people in that short a time? We'll go through that.
Yeah.
But they're there to help us. So, especially for starseed people. What are starseed people? Well, I don't know what they were thinking, but they agreed to come down and help. And they've reached that level of unconditional love. So starseeds really are angelic beings who've agreed to kind of incarnate in a human body again to come down here. Why do they have to do that? Well, it's quite simple. And if you look at the keys of Enoch, one of the laws of the universe is you have to tell, well, there's free will. If big things happen, they have to tell us what's happening through different things like Simpsons, whatever. But the biggest thing is that they're not allowed, even prime creator, the prime creator of all it is, God, whatever you want to call God. I define God as God, goddess, prime creator of all it is. God's in everywhere and everything. And I think because of that, no one can get involved without somebody being on this planet to get over that rule, to say, guys, we need help, come down. And that's why we're here. Now, of course, the cabal, Illuminati, whatever you want to call it, the people who are kind of trying to take over the world, they're not doing a very good job, but never mind. But, it's starting to all fall apart. But oops, but never mind.
Yeah, oops.
Bless them. You got to bless them. But they tried. But, they wanted to take over the world, put us in 15-minute cities and, eat bugs because, they wanted everything for themselves. And that's not happening. So at this time, a lot of starseed people were sent back over the last 4,000 years at different points to experience the change, because the change of this planet even over the last 20 years is so profound. I mean, sometimes I look out, am I in a spaceship or are we really still on planet Earth?
Where is everybody?
It looks a bit strange to me, and everyone's behaving differently. We're on a dying timeline. It's a patch timeline stuck together, but it's about to transition, and that's a good thing. So if you sit at home thinking, well, I don't fit in, starseed people, what makes you a starseed? Well, let's see. You don't fit in. Don't have normal human behavior. You don't talk behind people's backs. You're very honest, open, and raw. Just tell the truth, and people can view you as intense. Like, God, that person's intense. It's not. It's just you're telling the truth, and it's triggering people because it's bringing all their trauma up of what they've had. You don't fit in. You like to isolate. You feel the energies. I mean, at the moment, the energy's off the charts. People are struggling to eat. I don't know about you, but every day I think, what do I want for dinner? I don't feel like anything. And you go through all the different things.
It's true, and you want to be left alone. Do you ever notice that?
Yeah, you want to be left alone.
Yeah, give me the wine.
Let your mind go. Yeah. Tipples are in,
Yes.
but not too many. But to be honest, people said to me, "Have a glass of wine." Listen, it's okay. In this world, well, is it going to harm me? I said, I wouldn't even worry about it. If you look at the food, if you look at the air, if you look at everything, manipulation in every way, including mainstream media. I think if you're having a glass of wine a night, I think it's okay because your body's struggling with the toxins outside, like the plastics and everything else.
It's a hard place to exist here, isn't it, for starseeds?
It really is. It's crazy, And I think, I don't know whether anyone's noticed, but if you look outside, everything's starting to seem more surreal. because this timeline is dying and there's going to be a transition. It's going to look quite different, yes, the trees will be around, everything else, but the vibration and energy as it transitions is going to be much, much more vibrant, and everything will feel back real again. At the moment, it's more or less a holograph,
Yes.
So the angelic beings, so if you look at angels, they're unconditional loving beings. They'll be there for you. You can speak to them. So what's the difference between them and archangels? Well, archangels are something different again because they're more evolved. So they've been around a lot longer, which means they've got a lot more experience of helping us on this planet. They've got the wisdom. Angels may not quite have the wisdom.
Yeah, and they would not show up in a human form, much like an angel would. The archangels are just...
No, well, no, they show up energetically normally. I mean, I get...
Correct.
And they've also got ascended masters, which are probably archangel evolved, but ascended masters have certain gifts, and they're pretty high up as well. They come down and try and teach us things that no one's listening to, but never mind. And it's interesting. And then you got guides. What's guides? Well, they're kind of souls that have passed on. They agree to come back. Now, they haven't necessarily reached the angelic unconditional love place, but they still want to help the person down here. They pass on and they want to support them in any way they can. Normally like family members or past family members, ancestry, they're normally there to support you whilst you're in this place, because I always tell, everybody, next time, if you're up there, next time God says, look, we want volunteers. For heaven's sake, run to the bathroom, close the door, pretend you've got diarrhea, and don't come out until all the volunteers are done, because you're coming back here again. So, it's just a joke, but it's a tough place to be, but I love it. But a lot of people can't cope with it. Even I found starseeds, because they're so sensitive, they get attacked relentlessly. And, so you got those. So if we look at, for example, what sort of angelic beings do we have? Well, I've got a list of here. You've got Michael, Archangel Michael, ancient Palladian. He's a person, he looks at protection, courage, and cutting cords and things like that. He's somebody that a lot of people call on because he's got lots of wisdom. He's a very powerful being, Archangel. Gabriel, communication, messages, creativity. Again, great guy, to call on. Raphael, brilliant healing, harmony, balance. All these people, Uriel, wisdom, insight, enlightenment, Shumaril, Venetian, Taurus, constellation, love, compassion, relationships. And by the way, Uriel's Arcturian, Raphael is Andromedan, Gabriel is Sirius, obviously Michael's Palladian. And then we've got Jophiel, which is Orion. Again, forgiveness, mercy, and transmutation. You've got Raziel, sacred mysteries, esoteric knowledge. Ariel, also Palladian, and also Lion, kind of a mixture of both. The lions are the cat beings. And again, they're very much about animals, environment, healing, and manifestation. Hanael, joy, inner beauty, emotional healing, soul remembrance, and Azrael, transition, grief support, and soul crossing, so helping people transition. So all these archangels are there to help. And, people think, well, he must be busy. No, their higher self can be like 50,000 places at once, because they're, higher self, like we are. We're existing in alternate universes and doing things on other planets at the same time as we're here. So our higher self is connected to all that, of course. So, call on any of them. Now, I think it's good that if you know you're a starseed, a starseed person, their soul is from kind of one place. Like their soul is Palladian, Arcturian, Lemurian, Adantarian, Andromedan. Mine's Melchizedek. And so once you ask, where is my soul from? And you're a starseed person, I'd start meditating with it, because I think it's important. I learned a long time ago that everybody has got a divine plan. Everyone's got a gift, like a gift from God. And the gift is something that you don't really have to try with. It's just right there. But
do you think we forget? Because we're that species with amnesia, like we just don't remember who we are.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But what happens is that when you start realizing, well, I'm different than everybody else. Okay, why am I different? It takes time, you start to grow. Then you start meditating. And, I find out as Macklin being, and, I meditate with Macklin beings and nothing happened. Well, what's going on? And then next day, nothing happened. This is like 3 or 4 hours a day. After about 4 or 5 weeks, I said to them, look, I don't care when you contact me. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm committed to this. And very quickly after that, they connected with me. Now, it might sound brutal, but these guys don't waste their time with people who aren't, kind of committed, because, they can teach you things and everything else. And then what happens is you just think, oh, well, yeah, I'm done with that. I'm going back into the matrix, the third dimensional world. So I would encourage every starseed people to feel different like that. You like to isolate. You don't like being amongst people. You don't mix with people that well. You tell the truth and people think you're intense. All this sort of thing. Try and navigate your world and detach from this matrix, and find a world where you can find maybe 1 or 2 people who resonate with you, and just hang out with them and enjoy yourself.
Can I ask this to maybe, is it something that could be added to that list? I've heard many times, and I know people in this situation, people who get bullied a lot or have like really hard luck. I always say, maybe it's because your light intimidates them. Like you don't realize you have this light, but sometimes people just get irritated by other people's light. And I find,
they do.
Right? Gifted people or starseeds would have a pretty intense light and kindness, and the energy would be just something that conflicts with people who are just not on that level.
Well, I've seen a few instances lately, and, actually a number of instances, with clients where they've said, like one lady went out with 6 people and she was having a drink, and she just told this lady a truth, and it was perfectly true. And she told her the truth. She goes, well, dare you? I demand an apology immediately, And she goes, well, I can't apologize for telling the truth. And I said to her, next time, what you should really do is maybe, say what's within you that's causing that that trauma to be triggered, because you're projecting on me when it's truth. And another person she was a psychotherapist, went to a conference, and there was a psychiatrist there, and she just felt intuitively led to say, and she said, hey, I'm just feeling like you need to do some more self-care.
Yeah.
She burst into tears, and she was comforted for about an hour, and she felt bad about it. I said, don't feel bad about it. It's good, because what you're doing is you're bringing that trauma out, and people can identify and start working on it. I think also, what happens as well is, for the average person in the street, I would say 97% of people who come to me have got some sort of attachment, whether it's Anunnaki, fallen angels, Draconian, Luciferian, snake beings, what's it called, Archons, and all these beings attach you. So when you go near with your beautiful energy, that being's go, oh God, and then it gets all reactive and snarly, and so it's projecting through that person. So when the person gets nasty, it's not them per se; it's the actual entity within that's projecting through them. So again, it all comes back to me to forgiveness. Forgive people. It's important to realize that their reactive behavior is basically from all that trauma that's being brought up, or from some attachment that isn't even them, that doesn't like your energy. Like,
Now, I'm glad you said that, because it's probably the only thing we really have any sort of control over is our reactions to the situations that are presented.
Absolutely. And to me, I'd encourage everyone, stay in love. All the hatred over the last few weeks is just, I've been looking on Facebook and I thought, I just don't want to see this. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's really sad, because this is not normal human behavior. There's something wrong with this picture. And yes, people have been programmed, they've been manipulated. And I think, again, don't shame them, just, bless them. But, do we want to be part of it? No, and, the passing away, people laughing, and it's atrocious, really, when you think about it. But that's the way people are programmed. And it's really, really sad, for the human race. I was talking to a friend of mine, and it's funny because I said, I feel so sad, like mortified. And I can't put my finger on it. And, you know, for humanity, she goes, it's heartbreak. I said, that's a brilliant word. It's heartbreak for humanity. And I don't know about you, Michelle, I feel like that, you know, like heartbroken.
I feel heartbroken, to be honest, not so much just for the people, but more for the planet, the environment, the things that are going on out there. I think when we are truly connected, you know, to Gaia, you feel all of that vibration. You just can't help but. And I think if more people were connected, maybe we would feel a little bit lighter.
Yeah,
For me,
so
I'm an energy worker, so I connect to the planet. It grounds me.
oh yeah,
you know.
yeah. No, I absolutely agree. Someone, I remember watching a little reel that just came up from nowhere, and it said, "Do you ever feel as though you're kind of stuck in some vessel where you're, how did you describe it? Not rotting, but decaying." I think he said decaying from inside out. And I thought that's a very good description, because a lot of people are seeing that. You know, I mean, we work on about 3,000 people a week, and it's a lot of people, and so many people are asking for help at the moment. I feel like, you know, as a worker, you know, doing, I don't know the word light worker, but, you know, as a practitioner of energy work,
I work both sides, really. It's you know.
Yeah.
But
I think what we're doing is actually holding people up, you know, to give them encouragement to get them through this transition, because people are really struggling right now. Bless their hearts, you know. And I feel for them. So absolutely,
it is difficult. I do have a question here for you as well. Can empathy caused by trauma be embedded in our DNA? If so, they seek for our empathy through our DNA? I'll leave that up for you.
Well, the DNA, the light body is affected. Your DNA per se, I mean, it is affected by emotion, but mainly the light body, because, of course, you know, if you're ingesting, I mean, the average person who's awake is probably, you know, ingesting 150,000 layers of emotion. It's way too much around the heart. That's why the heart struggles. And so, you know, to get rid of it, we have a fast track method of being able to, through psychic surgery, they go within, and I'm going to demonstrate if I can tonight, because, you know, talk is cheap, and I think it's great to do a demonstration. But they go within, they look for your biggest emotion affecting you right now. They pull that layer of energy out, and then you breathe it out, and the next. And, you know, we could do a lot with that. And, but it affects the light body. Does it affect the DNA? Not really. I mean, there's other instruments that affect the DNA, you know, on the planet, like weaponry, whatever. And that really does affect the DNA, but especially transmissional frequencies. That's why, you know, even when you're born, is your DNA the blueprint in the Akashic records it should be? And the answer is no, you know, not at all, you know. So, and so, you know, once you get your DNA back to the blueprint, your DNA, RNA, immune system's all connected, so immune system's better. In addition to that, what's happening at the moment with the changes in people's DNA from certain instruments, once the DNA's changed, your soul is not compatible with your body, and so your soul lifts out, you know, and then, you know, you're checked out, and in come archons or some other being to take over the body. It's very interesting.
That is really interesting when you say that, because I mean, how do you know if you've got something like that attached to you, or what it could be? You know, like I'm asking, obviously, because not a lot of people know. I've had these things come right through communication devices. You know.
Oh yeah, they do, especially Luciferians. I mean, I don't even know, but the big corporations, I won't mention any names, but big corporations who produce music, they have a altar at the back where they do a ritual, and every time that music is played, the Luciferians come through that music, you know, because they're around. They don't actually come through the, you know, the wiring. They just, as soon as they hear that music, they're attracted to it, and they're going to affect that person. And, you know, I've seen people like they put some music on, oh my God, yeah, I felt attacked. And yeah. So what are the symptoms? If you've got an attachment, what are the symptoms? And well, let's take the different beings. So let's look at the negative ones, because the fallen angels. So you've got Anunnaki Draconians. They look like reptiles. They're very tall, like 10 foot 7. They look a little bit like a velociraptor. They stand on two legs.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is, of course, in the fourth dimension, they're solid. Here, they're an energy, so they're attached to you. So they sit in the abdomen, hang on the shoulders and neck. So the abdomen is low vibration, which means your intestines in the lower end isn't working. So you may get a lot of gurgling, By the way, the Latin for gurgling is called fartum hysterectomus. But you get a lot of gurgling, you don't digest properly. It also sits over the liver, so your liver's low, so it's not processing the toxins of your body, so you get a heavy head. It also affects the kidneys, especially the adrenals, so you're exhausted all the time. Hangs on the neck or the shoulders, so they're always tight. And it taps in the lower back. Over a period of time, with the energy, it will damage the L4, L5 disc. So you get disc issues on the lower back, L4, L5. And it'll send you negative thoughts. Like, for example, if you go out to work, you get these thoughts like, God, the boss hates you. No one likes you here. Why are you here? You should just leave. And he's about to fire. You get these horrible thoughts. But always think about this. They're always you thoughts. They're not I thoughts. Again, the universal law, they can't instill into your brain an I thought because it's against the universal rule. So it's always a you thought. And it's very quick for people to turn that around. Saying, I think it's an I thought. I mean, I take these things out weekly. I mean, they call it exorcism. I don't know. I just call it removing them because they're very destructive of the body. So what else have we got? You've got first and second dimensional entities, scarab beetle type things, octopus type things, jellyfish type things. They sit in the body. They block the meridians. They can sit on the crown and block your crown like a jellyfish thing. You can't see it. Luckily, I can see through the veil, so I can see them. I can actually, when people, I only do sessions over the phone or through social media, not social media, things like Zoom. Well, I don't use Zoom actually. We normally just phone people up, and I can remote view them and see what's attached and everything else, and look in the body. And so, so removing them, you get proper energy flow. If you've got snake beings, they tend to lurk in the left or right shoulder, left or right hip, left or right breast. A lot of things like that can cause things like, for example, breast cancer, low vibration. If you've got pathogens, which are, pathogens are pathogenic, but they're also classed as parasites. And, once they've got a low vibration, they can mutate cells, turn into tumors. Then you've got archons. Now, these things are connected to weaponry. I'm sure you know what we mean. I won't go into that. But if you ingested any weaponry in the last 4 years, what happens is the DNA changes, soul lifts out of the body, in come archons and take over your body. That's why people who have ingested it, they become kind of checked out, but aggressive at the same time. I don't know if anyone's noticed that. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, the weaponry, So,
oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I'm not going to mention it because we don't want to go off the air because we love it. On
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we love it. And then you've got Luciferians. These things are connected to the Vatican. I'm not going to go into that too much because last year I was talking about the Vatican. They hit me that low frequency energy weapon, melted my heart, two of my heart cusps together. I got really sick real quick, and so I had to get that fixed last year. So I don't want to not going there again.
So what do you do, Christopher, when there are people who believe, like you have certain angelic that come from certain star systems or like the Pleiadians and such, right? The Orions. Or what about those who do come from, let's say, the Draco system, and the people who are, because I've met people who just very gifted people who are like, no, I have past lives, like memories, crazy implanted memories, perhaps, of being around these beings, but like in a community, like it just seems to go back, So what do you do?
And very often there's a lot of shapeshifters here. So if you, how do you identify them? Very easy. So first of all, you get this gut feeling like there's something not right about this person. They feel very dark. You can feel it in your chest. So if you believe that someone's a shapeshifter and has shifted out of reptilian into human form, then, and I wouldn't say this prayer out loud in front of them, but what you could do is look at them, ground yourself, do it in your mind. I am of God. I ground myself to the earth. Dear God, I command you, show this person in their true form. And I thank you, God, send you my unconditional love, so be it. What will happen is that a reptilian overlay, it's like you can see it vividly. It's like a kind of opaque overlay comes around them in their true form. You think, oh, not good, so yeah. So you can identify these, but you can normally tell. I mean, I can actually see them because I look through the veil. Like, oh, yeah, you're Anunnaki, you're Draconian, whatever it is. And, it's bad when you go to a restaurant. Luckily, I can switch it off because otherwise, I remember I didn't switch it off. Walked into a restaurant and all these entities like, oh, blimey, there's one in the corner. Right, let's switch it off. I don't want to see them, and then we had dinner and I thought, I better get out of here pretty quick.
Yeah.
You can feel them,
They do, yeah. Because they will shapeshift. Mind you, some people say, well, they project you how they want you to see them as well. So, but you see a lot of people and the eyes start doing these crazy things. Kat says, some people say that reptilians are good and some are not. How does one know?
Well, there are there's ones who've redeemed themselves. There's Anunnaki redeemed themselves. Not so much Draconian. There is a couple of good Luciferians. So I think you have to really, and this is a good thing about channeling as well. This is really important. Ask the being if it appears or if they're in front of you. Ask them. Use your intuition. Is this a good being? Yes or no? And if you get a no. Normally you can tell because you get that dark feeling. I remember when I was 4, I was in my bedroom. I think I've probably mentioned it on the show before, but I was in my bedroom looking in the corner. Wow, there's like a dinosaur thing in the corner. Dad, there's a dinosaur, and he comes running up. And he read my book. He said, I remember that,
Yeah.
And it was a big old Anunnaki, like a reptile thing. And, oh my gosh, and he said, where? It's there, and he couldn't see it. And I thought, oh, he can't see it. So I'll just have a nightmare, go back to sleep, So, okay. So I turned over, I was looking at it, and it was still there, and it didn't look very happy. I could feel the energy, and from somewhere, even at the age of 4, I just came out and said, get out of my room, and it went. I thought, oh, that worked, So, and from there, I managed to navigate them, and they stopped turning up. But they do turn up, they mess with you. I've had people attacked by them in bed, raped, all this sort of thing. You can feel it, and it's not okay. And so to me, the biggest thing is the biggest instrument to get rid of those things is really we have a 27 Esoteric Merkaba field prayer. And if you put that 27 Esoteric Merkaba field, which is on the website, if you say that 3 times a day, it will keep these entities out. Because one thing about healing is this, if you give people some energy, it raises their vibration a bit, and then they leave and the vibration goes down. They're vulnerable, so they need protection right through the healing stage. But the biggest thing about healing, of course, is getting rid of all the trauma and emotion, those layers. And, we still normally, with a one-to-one session, I start off at 81, and that's a lot of emotion to release layers in one go. Why can we do that? Because when the Melchizedek beings pull out the end layer of energy and you breathe it out, then the next one, you get a reaction, maybe 2 hours next day, you can feel the residual of that energy, but the energy's gone. So you just feel the residual of the collective of those 81 releases. And we're just going to do a couple tonight, if you're okay with that, and in the demonstration.
Yeah, of course.
So it's interesting.
Next question. Can a location affect the amount of attachments that you receive, or is it who you are, I guess, which attracts them?
Now, location can definitely, especially, for example, I've found a lot of issues over here, and I've got a lady who's got, 136 slaughtered Native Americans under a house, and she's got so many problems with it. Because, they were slaughtered. Of course, the souls are still there. They vow to look after the land. They're really upset and fed up, and so they're all angry. And then because of that anger, it's like a Billy Watt bull. Come on, and Anunnaki Draconians come in as well. So she's got entities in the house. She's got earthbound spirits that are upset, 137. Because about Native Americans, you can't just say, well, leave, and I command you leave. It doesn't work like that because they're earthbound spirits. So I did a ceremony once, and I'll give you a little story. So I had this lady, she was flipping houses. And she was actually in Springfield, about 40 minutes away from here. So I was in the afternoon, I was doing sessions, and she texted me, didn't see the text, and I saw a text, said, can you clear my house as quickly as possible? The plumbing's breaking, this, that, and the other's breaking. And I said, yeah, let me call you back. Anyway, I called her back in about an hour. She goes, oh, I found someone else to do it. And she told me who the person was. Oh, no. This person, it's not because I dislike the person, it's because, the thing about Native Americans, you have to uphold their tradition. So you have to understand what you're doing. If you're gonna walk around and bang your drum like a lunatic, you're going to upset the Native Americans, you're going to upset the Anunnaki. So what happened? She went in, banged the drum. Oh, it's all clear. The plumbing got worse. It was ripped off the walls and things. So next day, I spent, I think it was about 3.5 to 4 hours. She had 847 slaughtered Native Americans underneath her house. And so what we did is had to get each one, talk to them, thank them for the participation and thank them for the blessing of being here, bless them on their journey, and then send them unconditional love and then move them on. Next one. Because you can't just say, right, move on. I know you're all pissed off. Time to go.
Yeah.
Like that,
Well, they play by a whole, I won't say play, but I mean, it's a whole different set of rules,
It is, yeah.
Again,
absolutely.
belief systems and, I mean, how they view the afterlife and being wronged and being buried properly, for example, I mean, it's a whole other thing.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be ready for.
I mean, when you get over the other side, when they're stuck between worlds because they've out to stay, so they haven't got there.
But you got to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you got there, you process it anyway. But of course, they're stuck. So it's time to, bless them, love them, and move them on. But then, in addition to that, with this house, we had the entities. Oh dear, there's a lot of
the feeders.
Well, what happens with them is, I don't know if you know this, but when you get a house with entities in it, they can put energetic symbology on the walls. It's like putting a building watt bulb out and saying, guys, come on here, we've got a negative party, so they all come rushing in. And so we have to actually literally comb this energetic symbology off the wall, remove all the entities, remove all the low vibrational energy, and then reverse a portal and flood unconditional love of God energy. And after a while, I normally go for 7 days, and after a while, it'll just feel like, wow, it feels much better. So, I do a lot of that, yeah.
It's bad. It's a lot of work. I don't think sometimes
It
people
really
think it's
is.
like waving a magic wand. Oh, not always. No, not at all.
No. Not at all.
Next question, Polly. Can disclosure be a personalized process of awakening more than a massive landing per se?
I think it is a personal process of awakening. Absolutely. I mean, don't forget, your personal body is connected to the collective. But, we've got to remember, there's probably 75 to 80% of people on this planet, NPCs, non-player characters. So they're either solid holographic inserts where you can touch them and you feel them, but they're kind of checked out. They can't do a monologue. Or they're born in pods. Now, I always talk to people, say, well, why don't you get a soul in a pod? Well, the answer is because you need that God energy around a woman's womb. You cannot get a human soul without that God energy. And it's interesting because these Zeta Greys, when they started abducting people, they'd steal the eggs and sperm, fertilize it in a pod, and then they would get a draconian soul. And, oh, no, that's not what we want. We want humanoids. And so what they did after, and I've seen it because obviously as it evolved, I've seen where they actually abduct a woman, they fertilize an egg in a womb, completely against the rules. And it was talked about in 2017 when I attended a Galactic Federation meeting, and they were banned from this planet because of that. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So anyway, they're abducting women. They put, devices on them to transmit frequencies. They call them implants. So they knew when the soul came in, then they'd abduct that woman again, maybe 4 weeks later, once the soul had hit, then they would transfer them into a plastic pod and they could nurture them until they're old enough to stand on their own. That was an evil process, obviously, we know all signed up for that, started off with Hitler and moved on over here with paperclip and carried on, but they were actually taken off the planet in 2017. I actually attended the meeting along with 2 other Melchizedek beings. And, when you think about it, it's free will. Yes, it's free will. But, if something violates humanity, where they're stealing body parts without your permission, then they've got a problem. So we sat at this meeting, there's about 10,000-ish beings there, I don't know how many. And we're talking about the difference in violation education. So think about this, So you come down on the planet, your memory's wiped because, if you had all the past life memory, it'd be way too much. So you kind of start again, in a new classroom to discover what's happening on this planet. And they give you an idea before that starts to come back that, yes, entities can attach, you get manipulated, they're going to send you thoughts. And so is that a violation education? Because you're told before you come on the planet, it's an education, and you can get rid of them with prayer, power of prayer, maps of intent, as I call them. But what happens if someone signed a contract saying, I want to steal humanity's body bits and develop our own humanoids? Is that a violation education? It's a complete violation. So the Arcturians swept them all off the planet, and they were banned. They're very crafty. They were banned from this time and this space. Okay. And they're back. How did they get back? Well, what they're doing is coming through portals into your house. And so they're in a different time, but same space. You see what I mean? So they're getting over they're manipulating the thing. But anyway, it's what it is. How do you get with these beings? They always find a way of getting around, the universal laws. And they're good at it,
So how do angels fit in with this? Like angels, because they come from, let's say, all of these different star systems in these places, essentially they are another race of beings, not so much, I'm just going to put it out there because there's a lot of people who have insight, think, well, this is what an angel looks like, because this is what, I've been taught through my faith, for example. And they're an ethereal being that doesn't fit in per se to an extraterrestrial being, for example, or being from another planet or star system. So how do they fit in with this? Does Michael ever come down, see another Palladian and say, hey, you're out of line, I'm hauling your butt out of here? How does it work exactly?
Yeah, he goes, come here.
That's it. You're going home. Time out.
Actually, that rule applies as well. It's interesting, actually, because you will never get Michael or any other archangels or angels show themselves unless you're in a position where you don't get, frightened by it. You have to be really you have to be really strong, in other words. I mean, I've had Mother Mary appear to me several times. Last year, when I was almost dying because this heart valve thing, the low frequency energy weapon, she actually came in my room about 1 o'clock. So, because she's a Melchizedek being, she's the mother of the Melchizedek beings down here. There's 5 of us. She said, "Do you want to stay or go?" I said, "Why even asking me that?" She goes, "Okay, you're staying." It was a crossroads, and you always get a crossroads. Silly question, and the answer was no. I'm staying, and I'm here. I was about 8 weeks from death because it was so bad. My heart was really struggling. But it's the size of a volleyball. It's huge, So the surgeon's going, "Oh my God, we don't have a valve on the shelf big enough to put in this heart. We're going to have to reduce the hole." I said, "Look, just get on with it." And I said to Mother Mary, "Can we heal it in time?" She goes, "No, you need this operation like right now." And here I am. I'm still alive, I think. Anyway. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Much of the dismay of the people who put you there. So,
well, that's the 290th time. I've been dusted with all sorts of weaponry, bio things, and whatever. I got really sick many times of different things, and yeah, we're still here. And that's the thing about it. What you were saying earlier about, I think a lot of people have extreme events happen in their life. I think the more old your soul is, the more events you need to really help you step up, because you need those experiences to really make you grow and take your power back. I was talking to someone the other day. It's interesting, and they said, well, they were talking about faith, and the faith of, for example, it's my belief that if you have absolute faith, say you've got somebody pointed a gun at you and just about to squeeze the trigger, what happens? Well, you can either say, "Oh my God, I'm going to die," and the universe won't create a new reality, and they'll shoot you, and you're going to die. Did you make that happen? Well, you didn't, but you did, because you didn't have the faith to say, "You know what, it's not going to happen." But if you turn around and say, "You know what, you're not going to touch me, full stop," and you really believe it. I'm not talking about just, oh yeah, you can't touch me. I'm talking about having that absolute no fear, like you're not doing it. If you really have that absolute faith, and it's the strength within you, the universe will create a new reality. I've seen it, and so yeah, but there's not that many people on this planet with that level of strength and faith, I don't think.
I think faith is the big one. It's believe. People have a hard time believing in themselves. It's easier sometimes to believe. Like, for example, I'll just use the paranormal for an instance. It's easier for someone to believe that there's something really malevolent within their space that's causing them a lot of angst, or trying to frighten them, than it is for them to think, like psychokinesis, projecting energy, that I am a powerful being that can create all of this incredible stuff to happen. It's just easier. I don't think people have enough faith in themselves as to the power they actually hold.
They definitely don't. I mean, people have no idea, I think. A lot of people have no idea. And they say, well, how do you do it? Well, the answer is, first of all, you've got to really work on yourself and start ridding yourself of that trauma. Once you've got rid of a lot of the trauma, you feel more powerful. Wow, I feel amazing. And then what happens is that, you get to a level where you can manifest anything. I mean, when I went bankrupt in 2007, that was at my lowest point. I was in the south of England. I was living out of a car, a Volkswagen Polo, and I'm 6'5", so it wasn't the best, but I had all my stuff like pantaloons in the back and whatever, shirts and things, and and I was sitting there, grey, by the sea, bawling my eyes out, thinking no one cares. And then the thing that turned it around for me was, no one gives a damn, So I realized that the only way was the beings, off-planet beings, they're there 24/7 for you. And I realized that they're there 24/7. If you need something at 3 o'clock in the morning, you wake up, you ask them, they'll tell you. And once you connect with them, that to me, as a starseed person, is key. But they also show you as well the God gift you have. They will teach you how to work with it. I mean, people say, well, I want to do healing. Well, it doesn't quite work like that. It took me 4 years, meditation, 4 to 6 hours a day to understand cause and effect. And, when I got here, I really focused on things like Morgellons and Lyme disease, all these bioweaponry diseases. And, now we've got a protocol that strips it all out. It takes the whole stuff out of your body and resets the DNA. But it took me a while to develop that protocol. It's quite complex. It's quantum timeline splitting and, all sorts of things. So but I would encourage people. People say, well, where do I start? I said, by meditating. Don't go with other people's, to me, their techniques, because that's their technique they've learned from their angelic beings. Yours might be different, so your technique is going to vary considerably. And so that's what I was doing. Meditating, understanding, putting people in portals, bonding into Merkabah fields so they're safe while they're doing the healing, and all this sort of thing, cause and effect. It's amazing.
Do you find, because this is how it is for me a lot of times, do you find that sometimes when you're going through a process, you don't know where it comes from, it's just given to you, you just instinctively know what you're supposed to do, and then somebody say, how do you do that? Because for me, it's like, I don't know, I'll never remember it again, be happy that it worked. It's like, I don't freaking know where it came. It came. I instinctively knew what I had to do and just applied it. And this is not with people, this is planetary stuff, right? But I knew what to do. I did it. And then when I went to think about a process again, I went, that was interesting. Do you
well, it's like, you get guidance like that. You need to tweak this, do that instead, or add that in. But also, I've had epiphanies like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, suddenly thinking about something. Suddenly the answer comes to it. Oh, leukemia, how does that work? Well, and I figured that one out. And a lot of it's to do with the liver. Liver drops low. If you've got too much toxicity in your body, it can't dump it all in fat cells. So it starts to actually damage the bone marrow. So, get the liver functioning, rebuild the bone marrow, and we've got rid of that a lot, but it was an epiphany. I thought, wow, and in fact, I was so excited about it. I remember going down the office at 2 and 3 in the morning and phoning this guy up in Ireland who was up, and he was actually blind, the guy, bless him. And I said, can I just check in with you? He said, yeah. And said, if I describe how leukemia works, will you tell me, if it's the right answer, yes or no. He goes, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's been amazing. What a journey.
Well, downloads. There's always somebody that's going to give you the proper information just to help your own evolution in the work that you're doing, because you're clearly doing what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Mish says, as a human, if we get in the mood and lower, if we get in a mood, I'm assuming if we get a little bit irate with a lower vibration, and lower our vibration, is that when things can attach? Apologies if you've mentioned this already.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. I mean, sometimes I put, I'll run, the one-to-one specialized groups. I'll run the healing for 7 days. So because that being to work on you for 7 days. But what happens if you get upset? Something happens, your mother says something, and you get angry and your vibration drops. The because that beings have to step back because they can only stay in your body if it maintains that frequency. So it slows down the healing. And even the protection can actually break down as well, because you just asked to put 27 esoteric Merkaba field, high vibration, sacred geometry around you, and yet, you just got upset. And so that's gone. And then what happens on emotion? These things ride in. And once they've attached, of course, you've got to get rid of them. So, yeah.
All right. So now we're going to jump over again into the angelic topic. What is the difference between spirit angels and guardian angels? I mean, we have an idea of the guardian angels, but I have to say, I've never heard of a spirit angel.
Well, spirit angels are just spirits who are, there for guardian angels to keep you safe. And you normally have one or two of them. They're very powerful beings. There might be a Lyran. I know my wife's got a Lyran, a very massive, tiger type being. But spirit angels are there kind of to share things if you ask them. They'll be around you a lot. The guardian's just there to guard you, and make sure things don't go crazy. Spirit angels, they're there, probably 5 or 6 of them to just help you if you're there and want, for example, you want to ask a question and get your intuition, they'll help with that, when you get that intuition.
So here's something that maybe pertains to this. The theory is when we sleep, of course, that we don't remain in our bodies, that we leave the body, much like being in a coma. I mean, don't sleep in your car in the garage. No, you go out. It's, same idea. So I always feel like sometimes I've worked real hard at night. I come back and I feel like I've slept all bloody night and soundly, but I'm exhausted.
Oh my God, I'm exhausted.
Could that be a definition of a spirit angel, as our essence leaves and we still go help guide people or do things, bring people over, answer questions, pretty much how you're describing spirit angels?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we can help other people, but a lot of times, especially now, a lot of people are finding that, like, they wake up, they're absolutely exhausted and wiped, and wow, I've just slept for like 8 hours. What's happening? I'd advise you this. I'll tell you how to stop it in a sec, because you can't. If you don't ask to stop, they'll take you every single night because you haven't said stop.
Right.
And so what happens, of course, you go out, you're in a classroom, you might be learning some technology, you might be learning some other techniques of, how to heal, whatever you're doing. Or you might be, like you say, helping people on another planet. I've done that before. We've been in battles and things, helping people. And then you come back and so you're a spirit angel helping others, on different planets. So if you're getting exhausted a lot with that and you're going out of body a lot, which I do, then what you need to do is have a few nights reprieve. How do you get a reprieve? If you sit by the bed, ground yourself again. I am of God, because you're of God. I ground myself to the earth. And then I'd say, dear God, I command I do not go traveling tonight. And I thank you, God, said you my unconditional love. They'll stop it for that night. But if you don't say the next night, they'll take you again. So, yeah.
I mean, I guess if you, like, for myself, I never even thought to say, sometimes I'll just say, God's sakes, let me get to sleep and let me think like I'm at least having a good one, and after that, it doesn't matter because I'm asleep. But it's so obviously that's why I'm tired all the time because off I go. But I'm one that I believe in that type of servitude. Like I know I'm here, as many of my line before me, it's all been about this sort of stuff. So it's kind of like you feel that obligation And in my back of my mind, if I'm needed, okay, then here I go.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just exist in zombie land the next day. It's
Well, it's like, it's like being in a
Yeah.
coma. If you're in a coma, why are you in a
Right.
coma? Because your body's so sick.
Yeah.
And for example, like a car crash, you
Yes.
weren't ready for it. So what happens is your soul leaves the body and rips the umbilical cord. So that soul can't find its way back. I've been in many hospitals, where I've walked and, saw a person in a coma and, I've just looked through the window and said, is your body good enough to get your soul back? And I said, yeah, but it can't find its way back. Okay, let's get it. So I'll get the Melchizedek beings, track it down, bring the soul back.
Oh boy.
Bang, they wake up straight away. And
Yeah.
so I just walk on. Oh, they've just woke up. Dee, 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 everyone's rushing in. They've just woken up, and it's what do they call it? A fisherman of souls,
Yeah.
fishing souls and bringing them back.
Because this has been going on for like millennia, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is not something new to all of us. I mean, this is something when you're getting into like the whole esoteric connections. This has been going on for a long, 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 long time.
Oh, yeah. I think we used to be really spiritual. Then it was all shut down with all the chemicals and stuff that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why I think most starseeds have been back. I've been back how many times? 1, 2, 3, about 6 times in the last 4,000 years to experience at different times, ready for right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know all my lifetimes, they showed me what I did in the past lifetimes. Oh, well, I'm meant to be doing that now. Okay, let's get on with it.
So you sort of go back and forth because I mean, there's such strong connections between, I think, angels and going into unseen realms and the astral plane, especially if you're working with them. Like they seem to be very willing to do the traveling and relocating those who need to be relocated, sort of thing.
Absolutely. And, don't forget, as a starseed, I mean, normally people worry about the fake light and everything else. I really wouldn't. If you're a starseed person, your starseed family will be there to, take you back to where you're meant to come from. I mean, the Melchizedek beings are from the ultimate dimension, so the infinite dimensions. There's infinite dimensions. I mean, people think, oh, there's 9 dimensions, 7, and I've heard different figures. There's not. They're infinite, and they're forever actually expanded. So it's really interesting, and people have a hard time with infinite, but yeah, it's interesting.
Earth angels. Earth angels. What are earth angels? You hear the term a lot. Are those just, people who just do good by everyone else, or is there something deeper?
No, I think Zedson, yeah. I think Earth angels are people who have evolved down here. I believe in human form where they don't judge. I mean, I love Jesus' teaching. I'm not a Christian by any means, but I love Jesus' teachings, and he teaches, don't judge, love people, do your best for them, serve to others. It's really that simple. And I think I abide my life by that. So, I help a lot of people. I never expect anything back from anybody because you never get it anyway. And one thing I've found, and, just be careful of this, you guys, if you do help people, people become entitled. So I tend to just help people. That's it. Okay, let's help the next one. That's it. But, I've had people in my life like work for the ministry and different things where they become entitled and actually really mean. You think, whoa, okay, well, it's time to terminate this relationship. You guys go your way and we'll carry on with the ministry. And that's okay because, what you got to do, I think, is set very strict boundaries, so what you don't want to do is have somebody sucking the life out of me. I do so much work at night, so I just want to relax and, oh, God, it's great. If someone's there asking you questions and sucking the life out of you, oh, could you do a healing now? No, this is my relaxation time, and you have to set boundaries with them.
It works that way even with spirits, disembodied spirits who come in and everybody's got a message and they want something. It's like, oh God, back off. You do need to have those boundaries. It gets really, people are, I love helping people. I always have. From my standpoint, it's just usually dealing with hauntings or attachments and just different ways. I spent 20 years doing that. But I also find that after a while, some people, not all, on an average, people want to be educated. They want to learn how to protect themselves. I've always said I won't be here forever. one day I'm going to be dead, and then I want to be off. I don't want to keep coming back, and I got a whole other bunch of stuff that's going to happen to me up there. But it's a whole other thing. It's just working in the field and educating people on how they can help themselves. But often when people say, "Well, how do I repay?" So I don't ever want repay. I just want you to pay it forward. I don't care if you smile at somebody on the street. I don't care if you want to, donate to your favorite charity, donate to this, donate to that. Like, because I don't get into the involvements the way you do, for example. It's nothing. It's like comparing apples and oranges, maybe even a crab apple to a very big orange. This is very two different ends of the spectrum here. So with that, it's just like, do what makes you feel good, whereas you work sometimes like in long term with people, and you go way back down the stream of the lineage and the DNA and the healing, and because there is a lot of DNA and ancestral imprinting and some of that stuff. And
yeah, and it's all from the soul, I mean, it's like when when you fertilize, you got 3 months to get a soul. When the soul comes through for the last 80 years, because the veil's so thin, it's not blocking all past life. So as the veil's got thinner and thinner, more past life stuff is coming through, and it's all the emotion and trauma, is in there. And once it bonds into the fetus, the emotion transfers the heart chakra, and the cellular memory transfers to the body. So you had your hand chopped off, you got pain in your wrist, and you've got a ton of emotion. That's why sometimes people say, "Why is my teeth all so anxiety good? And they've only been here for 2 years." And well, it's a lot to do with past life stuff, And, it's crazy.
Which makes a lot of sense too, even through lineage, like people, for example, both my grandfathers were in the war, and I had Templars going back, way back. I mean, that seems to be a thing in the family through the lines of having like this warrior thing going on. Then I come in around, I'm like, I'm going to kick everybody's ass, because I've got that same warrior mentality that has been like, I'm picking up on whatever their ancestral, whatever all of that is, it does. We take that on. And I think a lot of people don't realize that we do take that on. We really are our ancestors in more ways than one.
Well, I think also a lot of these things have been hijacked as well, like the Templars. The Knights Templar were the Knights of the Temples.
Yeah.
They were there, thousands of years ago to guard the pyramids,
Yeah.
And of course, what happened is the Masonic Lodge and, all these people, Cabal, they started infiltrating, and now it's
look at all the secret societies. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I brushed with the Knights Templar Society. In fact, it's funny, out of the blue, about, I would say 6 months ago, I won't tell you, well, I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
I had this Grand Master from England.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote to me on Facebook out of the blue. He said, "I'm the Grand Master of da. Can't remember the name of it." And he said, "Look us up on Facebook. We're so impressed with, what you give to humanity. We'd like you to join. Normally we charge $40,000. You can join for free." Okay. So anyway, I've got a couple of contacts, one really high up in the military. So I phoned him up. I said, "Could you check this, who this club out and see who they are?" Anyway, he got along. He spoke to the FBI and different people. Came back. He said, "Don't go anywhere near them.
Don't do it."
Don't do it. You're selling your soul." I said, "Okay, because." I mean, even if someone turned up here, and there's not many people who wouldn't do this. I mean, I'm not judging people. It's just they're all about money. But if someone turned up here and said, "Look, here's a check for $1 trillion or $500 billion. You shut your ministry right now. You go and buy an island, and I never want to see you again." Would I do it? I said, "No, I'm not doing it. Soul's not for sale. Sorry." Because I'm not interested in money,
And you really do have to look at it that way. Absolutely, you do. And we live in a physical place, a very materialistic place. It's very hard to separate for some people, the two.
Oh yeah, I'm not interested in material goods. I mean, I think when I went bankrupt, it taught me a lot. Like, not interested in stuff. Don't care about cars. All I'm interested in is people and having great people around me and do my best for humanity. And I think what keeps me going is just seeing the change in people. So it's amazing.
Yes. So when people get down into these, people who are super negative, for example, do they get extra special attention from the angelic, or do you really have to wait till you're at rock bottom, or do you have to ask, or are there these groups, these teams that look out and say, okay, here's this little person coming into the world. He is charged to our care, sort of thing. We're going to monitor he or she as they go through life, and we're going to try beyond the guardians, beyond our spirit guides, just the angelic who come in and make sure that we're okay, especially if we're these star seeds, because apparently we're here because this is what we know what we're supposed to be doing here, even though we don't necessarily remember.
Exactly, but they're not. But don't forget the the Enoch books of Enoch. The laws of the universe means that they're not allowed to intervene without asking, even though it's a weak ask. Like, oh, I wish someone,
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably looking at stars. For heaven's sake, guys, come on, take your power back. Let's get out there and do stuff. But the problem, they've got depressed. They've had massive things happen in their life. I mean, look, I've had it. My dad berated me all the time. Mum wasn't there for me. 8 strokes, 2 days after I was born. Burnt my back so bad when I was 4. Up to now, last year, in the hospital, getting my heart valve replaced. Oh well. And so many things have happened, but I've got the power within me. I've got the absolute strength. But I think you still have to ask. If you don't ask, you won't get. That's why somebody start. Well, where's God? I mean, this is ridiculous. Where's God when I needed him? Well, you never asked. Maps of intent. Maps of intent. Okay, God, I need something, please. And now, I think the success of my life and the biggest thing I've learned is gratitude, surrender. Like, God's got your back. Don't worry about anything. I don't honestly, Michelle. I worry about nothing. Death, life. I just go through life, enjoying what I do, loving it. And this is the second part of my life. First part, I was in corporate systems and hated it. It's got to work there. There's got to be something better than this. And I was designing autopilot systems and things, and people said, "My God, that's a great job," but it's not. I'm not enjoying it. It's not me. And it took me a while to figure out, nah, don't need to do that anymore. And now, I get.
You've entrusted yourself to the universe to just lead you.
I'm here. Let's use me and let's get on with it. And I think
seat of my pants, but I'm there. Yeah,
absolutely.
Best way to go. Here's a good question. Sherry. Hello, Sherry. Have you ever heard much of the Watchers?
Yeah, the Watchers. It's interesting. I think there's a couple of definitions. The Watchers are in the Book of Enoch, actually. I'll show you. And I view the Watchers are certain people, and this is an example. So I went down to Stardust Ranch. It's in Arizona. The gentleman, bless him, has passed, John. I've forgotten his second name, but John, I went down there for 2-3 days. And what was happening is portals would open. The grey reticulator would come through, eat one of his horses, half eat it, it was dead. And he got so upset, he said, I've got to stop this, So I flew down there, and I spent about a day and a half figuring out this portal, got some coding for it, opened it. And normally it opened, at the floor level. But it opened 300 feet up over them. John goes, I don't understand why it's like 300 feet in the air. As soon as it opened, there was a sonic boom, and then 3 craft came, Actorian craft. And I have some, whether you want to call them watchers or guardians, I don't know, but they, I said, who are you guys? They said, well, we're kind of your watchers and guardians, and I said, why are you here? And he said, basically, because to make sure you don't stupid shit,
Pretty much just the way it is.
That's the way it is. You've got no fear. You can do stupid stuff. So, and I said, why is that open 300 feet? He says, so you won't walk in it. Oh, okay. And I was literally watching craft and stuff. It took me 40 minutes to shut it down. Meanwhile, the military's out, flying the helicopters way around these, 3 craft.
Yeah.
As soon as we shut it, they were gone. It was amazing. And we took photos. I wish I had photos, but, John's passed away, bless him, I think it was February last year.
They went through a lot on that ranch. I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing bits and pieces of that. And I think there were, some groups that went in there to investigate, for television that sort of didn't help matters much. But it goes to show you that there are just some places that are, there are those power spots, and
vortexes, portals. Yeah, absolutely.
And you just don't know what you're walking into a lot of times, Okay. So Getting back into, of course, the phenomenon of fallen angels and, I mean, people will think, do heavenly angels actually fall? Is this conditioning again, or is this really a thing? And if so, do they ever get to go back? Some of these fallen ones?
I think some of them, when they get so dark, they don't, like they call Antichrist,
Yeah.
You've got, the Draconians, sorry, not Arcturians, Draconians, not Melchizedek. Let me start again. We've got, the reptilians, like the Anunnaki, Draconians, Luciferians. I mean, they're very snarly, I mean, if you look at sometimes exorcisms where people are like, kind of convulsing and speaking for a cackly, raspy voice. And I mean, I had a girl with the most Luciferians I've ever seen, and it was actually the Conscious Life Expo. So I got her on the table, and she, so I pulled the first one out, and I looked at it. Oh my God, there's 57 of them. And so the next one was like, "You didn't get me out." Oh yes, I did. You're going as well, and then you're going as well. 57 later. She goes, "Oh my God, I've got my life back." It's the most amount of beings I've ever seen attached to someone.
So the term legion really is a thing. Like they do.
Oh yeah, well they hunt in packs, and that's the other thing about, for example, schizophrenia. Yes, you can get chemical imbalance. Most of the time, it's because someone's very, very gifted and can hear or see the beings or both, and they're talking to them. And of course, because they're not discerning, well, are you negative or positive? They're talking to the manipulative beings. And then they're going to tell them to do silly stuff, But if you're talking to the angelic beings, and I've worked with some people to turn them around on this, and they've been like, wow, and now they can use their gift of talking to the angelic beings to really help others. I mean, if I went for a diagnosis, that's a guy you got schizophrenia, OCD,
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So what do they think of the state of the world, the state of the people, where everything is at right now? I mean, when you're a being, an elevated being of light of that sort, it's got to be very painful.
Really painful. Yeah, I mean, heartbreaking,
Yeah.
I think heartbroken for humanity is what I feel right now, and I feel very sad. But, will I ever give up? Absolutely not. And I think we'll make it, because you've got to remember, when it's all said and done, after this transition, there's going to be something like 700 billion people left on the planet. Proper human beings. I'm not talking about NPCs or anything else. They're all gone, and they make they kind of make up most of it, I think. But if you look at, let me just have a look and
700 million. Is that what you said? 700 million people. Wow.
Think about this population figures. This is off Google. Could we believe it? Who knows? But
yeah.
But I don't think they're far off. So in the 1500s, there was 438 million on this planet. 1600s, 500 million. So that's another 60 million. Okay. 1700, 610 million. Well, that's quite a lot. And then we go 1700 to 1800, 1 billion. That's a big jump. 1800 to 1900s, 1.6 billion. Well, that's even more. 1900 to 2000, it goes from 1.6 to 6.144 billion. Now,
what happened?
Well, maybe the television programs weren't that good. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, or maybe there's a lot of aphrodisiac or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's they're making people in pods. What they're doing is holographic, solid holographic insert people, and also people in pods, and they've manufactured these. There's no way, it's what's the average? 2.4 people average on, or 2.1 on this planet, probably. People have 2 kids or 2.1 kids. In that, there's no way you can get from there to 6.144 billion. Then from 2000 to 224, from 6.1 to 8.7 billion, that's 2 billion more. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense.
It does. No, it doesn't make any sense unless maybe we're getting people coming in off world.
No, I think it's mainly because they're growing these people, and of course because they're robotic and they've got. If you grow someone, with a sperm and egg in a plastic pod, you'll get a draconian kind of dumbed down soul there. You'll get something, but it's AI. It's not. It's draconian driven. It's not, proper human beings. That's why You know, a lot of people they're really kind of checked out. They can't produce a monologue. You know, you can see it very easily in when you go to stores. Oh wow, you know, that person's
It's like a drone-like behavior.
Yeah, it is. Now, if you look at the Deagle report, which is interesting as well, Deagle predicted, and a lot of people, I've been talking about this for a while, but people are talking about it more now. So Deagle predicted that, so if you look at, for example, let's look at the United Kingdom first, for example. Population 2017 was 63.3 million. 63.3 million. They predict at the end of 2025, 14.5 million. The United States, they predicted that population 2017 was 316 million, 0.4 million. They predict at the end of this year, there'll be 99 million. So that's a massive difference, you know. And if you look at all the other countries, it's gone down like 2/3, you know, 5, 10%, 15%. It's insane. So, you know, there's definitely manipulation with this. We're not talking about, you know, proper human beings. Plus that, you know, you can get, of course, you know, if you look at the music industry, if they do kind of rituals and things, they get in the club and then they become pretty satanic. And why is that? Because the attachments to them are so embedded that, you know, they're doing crazy stuff. Or they maybe, you know, come out of a pod and be a draconian AI person. Either one, you know.
You know yourself, you know, even after death, it's not hard to remote view a spirit, and many of them are still with their attachments. That's the deal. You don't just get them here, you know. The end game.
Oh yeah, they're interdimensional.
It's essence. It's essence. Your food. It's that simple. You know, take it where you want, but don't believe everything that you're told in the process. You know, because when you get there, it's a whole different thing. So.
Well, they're parasites, really. They're sucking your energy, and they're trying to go to the next level where you come back and they're still attached to you. And it's very important to get rid of these things, you know, so you can have a clear life. I mean, I got rid of them a long time ago, but the biggest thing, keeping them away, if you can work on your trauma and get your vibration way above them, where you know, I've taken my power back, I feel amazing. When you feel like that, you know, your vibration's so high, they can't even get anywhere near you because your energy goes out. I had a dowsing conference. Where were they? I've forgotten the name now, in Ozark. It was actually Little Rock, yeah. There's a dowsing institution there, and I went there, and they said, we want to just check how big your aura is, you know. And it went out. I kept walking, and they were dowsing. Keep walking, keep walking. Wow, keep walking, you know. 150 feet my energy was going out that they could detect. It was. They said, this is insane. I thought, well, that's interesting, you know.
Yeah.
Because I've really worked on myself, and my energy is really high, you know, so, yeah.
Yeah. Which is, and that's pretty much how you stay grounded and how you stay clear. So you work with Mother Mary, you work with the Archangel Michael in your healing and in your work. Do you want to talk about that? And you might maybe get into a session if you so choose. I leave it to you as we're.
Yeah. Well, you know, I work with a bunch of Angelic Beings. You know, Mother Mary's one of them.
Yeah.
Don't really want to mention the others because some are related to past life and different things. So, you know, but I work with several of them, including John the Baptist. He's a Melchizedek being as well. So, so we work with all these guys. They come in and basically through a portal, and they do psychic surgery and different things on your work. So, yeah, absolutely. So, so let's do a demonstration.
Yeah, let's do that. That'll be fun.
So if you're all okay with it, if someone doesn't want to participate, I would say, I do not want this healing now. And then the Melchizedek beings will know. So if you say that, if everyone wants a healing, then don't say anything because we're going to actually do a healing. So before we do the healing, I want to ground yourself. And don't forget, I define God as God, Goddess, prime creator of all that is. So I want you to say, I am of God. I ground myself to the earth. And I accept this healing for my highest good. Right, I'm going to put in a portal. Actually, let's put in a portal first. So, and the reason why I do this is to keep all the beings out whilst we're doing the healing. So, ultimate Dimension 8 portals around each person on this call or listening in the future. Close it off. You've got a command 27 each day. Merkabah fields around that person with their sacred point in the center of the Merkabah fields. On in the portals to the Merkabah fields, program the blueprint of that person's DNA and the keys of Enoch, so as not to allow anything, except for the highest good to enter. So we're going to remove any entities. What are they? Well, you've got Anunnaki Draconian. Of course, they sit in the abdomen, hang on the shoulders and neck, tap in the lower back. So they affect the abdomen will be bloaty and gurgly. So we're going to remove those. So they're escorting them out of the body in your sacred space. You're going to feel a drawing from your torso out through your tummy button right now. If you've got us first and second dimensional entities, sky beetle type things, octopus type things, jellyfish type things, removing those now, it's going to feel a light that's come somewhere in your body. If you've got a second dimensional snake being, they tend to lurk in this left to right shoulder, left to right hip, left to right breast. We're pulling those out now, so you're going to feel an unraveling of a spirit snake. If you've got, what's the next one? Archons in your body. They float through the second, third, and fourth dimension. They have no body at all, but they're, of course, connected to bioweaponry. So when your DNA is altered, they come in. So you're going to feel them draw out. It's like having negative energy drawn out of you. And then you've got the Luciferians now. These things are very snarly. So don't be surprised when they remove them. You might kind of contort your body or speak through your voice box in a snarly, raspy voice. So removing those now, I'm going to send them all back to God with unconditional love and forgiveness. So what I'm going to do is comb your meridians, because you get stuck with redundant energy in different parts of the meridians. That's why acupuncture. So because that beings, you're either going to feel angelic hands go down your body or lighter within, going from your crown, down your face, the back head on the left, down your neck, cross left shoulder, down your arm. The right, we're doing the same. On the left, we're going down your neck, down your chest, down your abdomen, out for the hip. On the right, we're doing the same. On the left, we're going from your hip down your thigh, over your knee, down your calf, out to the foot. And on the right, we're doing the same. Right, I'm going to give you energy. So two types of people on this call. People with spirochetes and Antec, people without. Spirochetes and Antec are beryllium, HVAs, Agent Orange, Morgellons, and then there's the new thing, the bioweapon. I'm sure you all know what it is. If you have that, you're going to feel space-time continuum. It's very electrostatic. Starts off subtle. It's going to get stronger, staticky, buzzy energy. Stronger and stronger. Then it's going to plateau. And because it is affected by, computers and things. So once you've finished this, podcast, just make sure you move everything 2 or 3, 4 feet away. It'll get really strong, turn into more like electrostatic plasma flow in your body. You guys without spirochetes and Antec, we're going to get ultimate dimension energy. So it's going to get very strong, like light, floaty, warm, tingly, really relaxed. So let's work on a little bit with the adrenals, liver and kidneys. It should start to get warm, tingly. So a lot of people have adrenal issues because emotion bleeds into them. So they're going to clear the emotions. They're going to feel tugging and pulling in there. It's literally like movement. You're going to feel movement. It's subtle, but you should feel it. Now, if you've got fatty tissue on the liver, most people have on this planet. Why is that? Because the amount of toxicity in food, water, everything else, liver's been struggling. So what they're going to do is break that down. So if you'll tug and pull them there, and they're going to paste this very thick energy on it to rebuild the tissue. I call it, it's a very technical term, celestial goo. What it does is when it touches the surface, it recreates the same tissue with the same DNA. So you feel a combination of cool pastry wrapping. If your liver's kind of paralyzed because of emotion and things that maybe, for example, 30%, I'm going to take it up now. So as it gets higher, it's going to start processing the toxins in your body. So let's take the liver up now. So it's getting higher and higher. Head should be getting lighter and lighter. Higher and higher. Head should be getting lighter and lighter. Higher and higher. Head should be getting lighter and lighter. Higher and higher. So it's getting towards 100%. So it should keep clearing in the next 5 minutes. But the thing is about the liver, if you take it from 30 to 100, it'll drop back to like 47, 50. We do it again, 60, 70. Fourth or fifth time, it'll stabilize between 90 and 100. If you've got spirochetes, nanotech, or pathogens, it'll stabilize around 60, 61, 62 until you've done it. Right, going to work on the thyroid. A lot of people have thyroid issues because emotion bleeds into it, hormones go off balance. So they're clearing out the thyroid emotion, so tugging and pulling there. I'm going to work on the pituitary, inch above the brainstem, butterfly in the brain, and 2 inches above the brainstem pineal. They're going to start breaking the calcification down. Because it's not just fluoride, it's nanotech, it's, spike protein. All these things affect your pineal gland. Right, I'm going to detox the body. This is only a demonstration. It's not a full healing, just a demonstration. So you're in a portal. We're going to detox your body. How do you do that? Much better way. What we're doing is switching heavy metals, toxins, oxalates, which comes from greenery. Any greenery you eat, you get toxins from it, oxalates, and microplastics. We're going to switch them out of this time to different time in your body, draw them out of the space, draw them out of your body. So you're going to feel a weird cool breeze or drawing sensation coming out of your body. Right, we're going to step it up 3 times, otherwise it upsets the immune system. So it should start to get stronger. Then it's going to plateau at a level. Stronger again. Then it's going to plateau at a new level. Stronger again. Then we'll stabilize that. I'll run this for a couple of hours just as a demonstration. So, yeah.
So people can go to your website to get.
Yeah. Let me just finish.
Yes,
I'll finish some
course.
heart shock releases. Don't worry, I forgot about that. Bless you.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is I'll do 5 heart shock releases. So what they're doing, of course, you may get a reaction in 2 hours next day. Probably not. It's only 5. But you may get a reaction like bawling your eyes out, yawning, coughing, burping, sneezing, or crazy dreams. Can get a bout of diarrhea, but with this level, I would doubt it. But if you do get a purge of diarrhea, it's purge from the emotion. So they go within those 100,000 layers, and they're looking for your biggest emotion affecting you right now. They're going to pull that out. Next biggest, pull that out. So as they pull the first layer out now, you're going to feel a tightness somewhere in your body where that emotion affects, either in the lower back, lower abdomen, solar plexus, breastbone, throat, upper back, shoulder, neck, can be in the head or legs. Now, when it releases, breathe it out from the chest. Really important. Next one, tie it again, tighter and tighter. Breathe it out when it releases. Third one, tie it again, tighter and tighter. And don't forget, it can be different places or the same place. Breathe it out when it releases. Fourth one, tight again, tighter and tighter. Breathe it out when it releases. Fifth one, tight again, tighter and tighter. Breathe it out when it releases. Right, let's just put a bubble on conditional. So, talking to because that beings, dear God, I command for everyone on the call or listening to it now and in the future that wants a healing, I command we create a sphere of ultimate dimensional unconditional love around each and every person and their Merkabah field to protect them from any negative entities and fractals thereof, manipulations, and transmissional frequencies that are not that person's highest good through all space-time continuum in every dimension. And so we thank you, God, send you our unconditional love. So be it. There we go.
Very nice.
Did you feel it?
I did. I could. Yes. I'm very sensitive to energy, so it's very easy to connect to that, which was awesome. Thank you so much. And I do encourage, your website is up here. So if you want to do, a session, this is where you got to go. And you do them how many times a week?
Twice a week. So it's on Thursday, which is actually tomorrow.
Everybody's in
It's tomorrow. It's
Yeah.
5 p.m. Central Time on Thursday and 11 a.m. Central Time on Saturday. So yeah, please more than welcome. It's by donation. If you don't have any money, I always encourage people, please come on, because you know what, I've been there and got the t-shirt on no money thing, and I know what it's like. You haven't even got enough money for food, but because it's a 501c3, it's a charity. Everyone deserves a healing, so it's very important to me that.
Oh, thank you very much. And thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Michelle.
Very informative. And of course, like I say, you have an open door policy. You're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, woohoo. That's what I say. Let's do it, darn it. Because, there's still more questions or comments and stuff that we could just take off into different directions and do things. I would love that. And to everybody else, go and check out. If you get back into the very beginning of the stream, you will see. Well, actually, why don't I just do this? If I shut this off, it will let me copy and paste it again. And I will put this in there, and you're all welcome. Who loves you? Yeah, right here. So, so we're going to put this back right here. So just go and click the link, guys. There we are. There we are. There. So do that. Go peruse the website. There's a lot of great stuff on there. And I thank you very much again, Dr. Macklin, for joining me.
Thanks, Michelle. It's wonderful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure having you on, always. And to everybody in the chat room, thank you guys. You are also just awesome. I appreciate you all being here. You make the show that much more fun. Tomorrow night, okay, we're doing it as per popular requests. We're talking Mothman. Tobias Wayland is going to be joining us tomorrow evening, talking about his new book, which he's authored alongside Richard E. Stepp, who we all know and love as well, talking about Mothman, sightings and investigations of the iconic cryptid. So, see, I listen when you guys ask for things. I listen, and here we are. So we're going to be talking Mothman, and it might be another little surprise for you guys tomorrow night as well. So definitely don't want to miss it. Tune in, and good night to you all.